Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, I've got 3 true horror stories that actually happened. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stick around till the end. You won't believe what happens. Story 1, the yearbook signature asterisk. This all happened a couple of years ago. Right before middle school ended. It was the very last day of 8th grade, and the atmosphere was exactly what you'd expect. Chaotic, exciting, a little bittersweet. Everyone was running around the hallways, hugging friends, signing yearbooks, scribbling cheesy notes about never change and see you in high school. My middle school was massive, over 1,000 kids. To keep the chaos under control, the teachers collected all our yearbooks and passed them around to different classrooms so everyone got a chance to sign. But you could already imagine how that could go wrong. Kids could write literally anything in anyone's yearbook, good, bad, or cruel. Teachers tried their best to monitor it, but there were still kids who used it as a chance to slip in nasty comments. Asterisk. When I got my yearbook back at the end of the day, I flipped through it eagerly. There were the usual inside jokes, funny doodles, and messages from my friends. But then, something strange caught my eye. Asterisk. Right underneath the printed picture of a student I didn't recognize. There was a signature. The name was written in neat but slightly shaky handwriting. Samuel Robinson 3. Asterisk. The note was short, simple, but deeply unsettling. Asterisk, it said. Asterisk, 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 HAGS. I'll be seeing you again. Asterisk. I froze. I had never spoken to a Samuel Robinson. I didn't even know who the kid was. At first I thought maybe it was just a mistake or some weird attempt at a joke. Still, something about it made my stomach tighten. Asterisk. But the school year was over, and there wasn't anything I could do about it. I tossed it aside in my mind and got ready for summer. That night, I had 3 of my closest friends, Kevin, David, and Kieran, over for a sleepover in my basement. We were your typical middle schoolers, eating Doritos, downing sodas, playing Call of Duty until way past midnight. My parents were asleep 3 floors up, so the basement felt like our own private world. Asterisk. It was just before 2 a.m. when everything changed. Asterisk. We were laughing and messing around on my dad's old rowing machine when a sudden asterisk, asterisk, sharp knock, asterisk, echoed through the storm door. Instantly, the mood died. None of us said a word. Who the hell would be knocking at our basement door at 2 in the morning? Asterisk. The knocks came again in a strange, rhythmic pattern, like the person wanted us to know it wasn't an accident. My chest tightened. My friend Kieran, being the loudmouth he always was, called out, asterisk, who's there? Asterisk. I wanted to strangle him for that. He had just let whoever was out there know we were awake and right downstairs. Asterisk. There was a long pause. And then a voice answered. Asterisk. Come around to the back door. Asterisk. It was high-pitched, cheerful, definitely a teenager's voice. It didn't sound forced. It sounded genuine, like he was one of our friends, just casually trying to join the sleepover. Asterisk. But it wasn't. Asterisk against my better judgment. My friends convinced me to check. So we crept upstairs toward the back door. Through the narrow glass pane, I could make out a figure standing under the porch light. I leaned closer, squinting, and my stomach dropped. Asterisk. It was him. Asterisk. The boy from my yearbook. Asterisk. 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 Samuel Robinson 3. Asterisk. 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 I panicked. My friends, for some reason, thought I was overreacting and started to unlock the door. I stopped them, blurting out a story about the yearbook signature. That seemed to shake them. Asterisk outside. Sam noticed us huddled together, watching him. He smiled and started gesturing toward the side of the house, motioning for me to come to the kitchen window. Against every instinct, I cracked it open, just slightly. Asterisk. He stepped closer, his face pale under the dim porch light. Asterisk. Oh, he said. So you got my message. Asterisk then, with this eerie calmness, he introduced himself. He told me he'd always been watching me from afar, that he thought we could have been good friends. Asterisk. My throat went dry. I forced a nod, agreeing just to keep him calm. But inside, every nerve in my body screamed to shut the window. Asterisk. Then I asked the question that had been clawing at my brain. Asterisk. How? How do you know where I live? Asterisk. His smile faded. He didn't answer. He just stared. Asterisk. And then David, my friend, made a mistake. He muttered under his breath, but loud enough for Sam to hear. Asterisk, man. You're a creepy stalker. Just leave. Asterisk. Sam's entire demeanor changed in an instant. His smile twisted. His head tilted like he couldn't process what was just said. Then, just as fast, his face contorted into pure hatred. Asterisk, he screamed. Asterisk, he screamed about how he hated my friends. How he wished we would all die. He shouted things about my ex-girlfriend that no one outside my circle could have possibly known. His eyes looked wild, unhinged. Asterisk. Then he lunged at the window, clawing at the frame, trying to force it open. I shoved it shut and locked it as he banged on the glass like a feral animal. My heart was hammering so loud, I couldn't even hear my friends yelling anymore. Asterisk, that noise, the snarling, the pounding was so loud it woke my parents upstairs. They came rushing down, demanding to know what was going on. Asterisk, and just like that, Sam bolted. He vanished into the night. Asterisk, my dad ran outside in nothing but his boxers, searching the yard, but he found nothing. My mom wanted to call the police, but for some reason they decided to hold off until morning. Thinking maybe it was a misunderstanding. Asterisk, the next day, they called the school. That's when we learned the most disturbing truth of all. Asterisk, Samuel Robinson, 3, had been. Asterisk, expelled weeks before the year ended. Asterisk, he wasn't even supposed to be at school on the last day. But the yearbooks had been printed earlier, which meant his picture was still in there. Asterisk, so how had he signed mine? Asterisk, he must have asterisk, snuck into the school, asterisk, just to leave me that message. Asterisk, worse still, when the school tried to contact his family, there was nothing. No address, no phone number. It was like he and his parents didn't exist. Asterisk, to this day, no one knows where Samuel Robinson III went, or how he knew where I lived. Asterisk, and that's the part that haunts me the most. Asterisk, because sometimes, it's late at night when the house is quiet, I swear I could still hear that same rhythmic knocking on the storm door. Story 2, The Rope in the Backyard, asterisk. This story is about my friend Garrett, asterisk. And let me just say this up front. Garrett has always been a little unhinged. The kind of guy who brags about being crazy like it's some kind of badge of honor. He fights too often, runs his mouth too much, and spends more time in the gym than anywhere else. Honestly, he's the type of guy you either love or hate. Asterisk. There are probably 5 different insane stories I could tell about him. Asterisk. But the one you're about to hear. Asterisk. It's the scariest. Because it happened to me too. Asterisk. It was the last day of our senior year, May 2019. Finals were done. Classes were over. Graduation wasn't for a few more days. And it's tradition at our school that on the last day, every senior gets absolutely plastered. So that night, the entire senior class gathered at the big clock tower in the center of campus. Asterisk. It was packed. Hundreds and hundreds of kids, maybe 1,000 dolls, drinking, laughing, celebrating. The atmosphere was electric. There was a bittersweetness in the air, but mostly relief. 4 years of work, finally over. Asterisk. I was with my group. There were 6 of us. Me, C, T, R, N, and of course, Garrett. We lived off campus, so we'd have to walk home through the city later. That wasn't a big deal. Our college town was safe enough. Asterisk. Or, at least we thought it was. Asterisk. Around 10 p.m. After hours of drinking and hanging around, we finally started heading back. The streets were mostly empty, except for the occasional group of students or the scattered homeless guys who always seemed to be wandering around. Usually, they didn't bother anyone. Asterisk. But this time was different. Asterisk. As we crossed an intersection, this one homeless man suddenly ran right up to us. He looked like he was tweaking hard, his eyes darting everywhere, his hands twitching. He stood right in the middle of the crosswalk, yelling nonsense at us. Asterisk. It was like he was a troll guarding a bridge, daring us to pass. Asterisk. We laughed nervously and tried to walk around him in a wide semicircle. None of us wanted trouble. But Garrett didn't have that kind of restraint. Asterisk, instead of ignoring him, Garrett yelled back, "Get the hell out of the street. Stop bothering people." Asterisk, the guy didn't like that. He lurched toward Garrett, muttering angrily. The rest of us immediately stepped in, trying to calm things down. For a second, it worked. The guy backed off, going back to yelling random threats. Asterisk, but then Garrett snapped. He ripped his arm out of my grip, screamed like a lunatic, and sprinted full speed at the man. Asterisk, the homeless guy panicked and bolted, running down the street. Garrett stopped, doubled over laughing like it was the funniest thing in the world. And to be honest, in the moment, we laughed too. It was like watching pigeons scatter when you charge at them. Wrong, but stupidly funny. Asterisk, we thought that was the end of it. Asterisk, but we were wrong. Asterisk, as we walked home, we realized, after a few blocks, the man was following us. Asterisk, he stayed just far enough back that we couldn't ignore it. And when we turned around, he started shouting again. His voice cracked as he screamed, "Asterisk, you made a big mistake. I'm gonna call a niche. You'll see. You'll all pay." Asterisk, we didn't know what a niche meant. Maybe it was some drugged up rambling. But it chilled me. Asterisk Garrett, of course, made things worse. He started shouting back, egging the guy on, mocking him. The rest of us? We were drunk, sure, but we weren't stupid. We knew this was escalating. Asterisk, by the time we were 1 block from our house, I said what we were all thinking. Asterisk, we can't let this guy see where we live. Asterisk, everyone agreed. Everyone except Garrett. Asterisk, before we could stop him, Garrett sprinted at the guy again, like a predator charging prey. Asterisk, the man fled, screaming, disappearing down the street. Garrett came back smug, like he'd won some kind of battle. Asterisk, so we went home, thinking it was over. Asterisk, we were wrong again. Asterisk, hours later, after more drinking and God knows what else, I stumbled outside to grab my DoorDash delivery. The night air was cold, sobering me up just enough to notice something strange. Asterisk, the side gate leading to our backyard was wide open. Asterisk, that gate never opened on its own. We kept it shut with a piece of twine. Someone had deliberately undone it. Asterisk, instantly, my stomach dropped. I knew who it had to be. Asterisk, but drunk and stupid, I didn't run back inside to warn my friends. Instead, I set the food down and went to check. Asterisk, the second I rounded the corner into the backyard, everything went black. Asterisk, a rough rope slipped around my throat, pulling tight. My breath cut off instantly. I clawed at it, thrashing, but whoever was behind me was strong. The frayed ends of the rope dug into my skin as I choked, gasping, seeing stars. Asterisk, I thought I was going to die. Asterisk, with every ounce of strength, I kicked backward, hitting him hard in the shin. He stumbled, and we both crashed to the ground. I managed one desperate gulp of air before he was on me again, scratching, clawing at my face like a wild animal. Asterisk, I shoved him off, blood running down my cheeks. He scrambled to his feet and ran vanishing into the darkness just like before. Asterisk, I stumbled back inside, gasping, my hands shaking uncontrollably. My friends freaked out when they saw my face. We called the cops, but by the time they arrived, the man was gone. Asterisk, at the hospital, I got cleaned up. My cuts weren't deep, but the doctors made me take a bunch of shots for diseases, just in case. Asterisk, the worst part, my graduation was days later, and I had visible cuts across my face in every single photo, a permanent reminder of that night. Asterisk, the police never caught him. And Garrett, he actually felt guilty for once. He blamed himself and, honestly, he wasn't wrong. Asterisk, but what I'll never forget is the feeling of that rope tightening around my throat. the moment I realized how close I came to dying. All because my friend couldn't walk away.